Right, yeah. So on the daily, still looking pretty bearish. I'm going to leave this here because I don't want to delete it and have to draw it again because it's a bit of a pain in the ass. This setup is drawn up on the 4 hour, but you can still sort of see what's going on the daily. This big sell off to me was a little bit too harsh for what most people are calling a retracement. Some people are calling that wave one and the pullback, and then this wave two, and then this pullback before wave three kicks off. It is definitely a possibility. I'd never rule anything out in crypto. But to me, that harshness of a pullback, which I think was a good 10%, over 10% nearly, a candle like that as a retracement is not a good sight at all, really. A nice walk down like this, or even it could even be a little bit harsher than that. This just shows a lot of indecision in this market on this pullback here, but this is a really harsh sell-off. So clearly a lot of people were taking profit here, and the traders who were long from either here or here have jumped out. Whether or not they're jumping back in right now, I don't think so. I reckon they'd be waiting a little bit longer. If we sort of run fibs up to there, we nearly touched down on 61. It is holding above the 50 now, which is good. But what I'm sort of seeing, possibly a more likely scenario, is we sort of just drop over again, roll over to pull another low, and that may kick off another downtrend. But basically, if this rolls over and creates another lower high, or if it creates a swing high which is lower than the last high, then we'll be starting a downtrend, and we may even start hitting that glorious 2,800 we've got our eyes on. A little bit of indecision today. This candle is pretty bearish, not a lot of volatility, bit of a spinning top, and it's a bearish spinning top. So for me, it's not the best move, especially after that sell-off. So I dare say we're going to do a little bear flag rollover. Jumping into the 4 hour, probably get a little bit better indication of what's going on, and how I've got that Elliott wave set up. It is a little bit skewed, but it actually hit the Fibonacci levels to the point. So that was our first leg of money here. The pullback was, I think, to the 50. First target was the 1272, pullback to the 786, and the final target, the 1618. So it actually followed the rules pretty damn spot on. It just looks a bit skewed. This downtrend, this retracement took way too long, in my opinion. But it did what it was supposed to do. But to technically follow the rules, this is sort of threw me off a little bit, because technically to follow the rules, the first sell-off should have generally the sell-off after a 5 wave is harsh. Not necessarily that harsh, but it is normally a little bit harsher than this move. But you generally do something a little bit more like that and create a head and shoulder. But it just smashed down in one candle, which just sort of says to me that the market really isn't as strong as what some people would like to think. We saw these bullish moves and everyone's getting excited, but this just tells me there's not really that many buyers in the market at all to sustain this sort of growth. And it was quite easy for it to throw in an 11% candle. Doesn't give me a whole lot of confidence. But we've had some really good trading channels through this last couple of weeks anyway, so I'm happy. It sucks. It's a big sell-off, and we might go lower, which I get more excited about. But if there's price action, there's trading opportunities. I don't really care too much about where we go. It's more so predicting what Bitcoin could do, where the price action will be, and then being able to pick moves on some other coins. So that's what I'm sort of seeing on Bitcoin at the moment. I'm not long or short right now. I'm going to probably wait a little bit longer until. So I'm just in Bitcoin. I'm not trading it at the moment. Trading alts. So sort of looking at something like this. So I'm going to keep an eye on this sort of move and see what happens. If we start getting bullish confirmation and breaking through and start going up, then sweet, I might look at the leverage again. Or I might be potentially looking for short opportunities. If we start hugging this line here and it looks like we're going to get a rejection, most likely off something like that around here, then I'd probably look to go short. But it is still a little bit of a coin flip at the moment. We could see a bit of sideways action here and then a big square up and come back up to hit this 4.2 mark. So a lot of possibilities, a little bit of a coin flip. I'm not too confident in doing any trades like that right now, so I'm happy just to sit in Bitcoin and ride it out and trade alts the way I see them.
Hey, Don, let's just quickly go over this for a couple of guys that asked the question. We posted the BTC chart in Discord, and we mentioned how it's much easier to move the market down than what it is to move it up for the whales. Do you want to just explain that for the guys who may have asked that question?
Okay. Right. So it really just comes down to, I guess, the order books and who's doing what. So, all right. Really need to draw like a visual. I'll tell you what I'll do. Let me just try something. Probably going to go off on a real tangent here, but give it a shot. I'm going to be drawing all over this thing.
I can't remember who it was that asked that question. Jer, maybe, or was it Ace? I can't remember which one of you guys asked that question, but yeah, good question.
All right, so this is going to be a real basic explanation, but it's just to maybe get your head around a little bit about the way the market works, or both sides of the market. So let's go, I don't know, draw. All right. So we're down here, and this is all of our buyers, and all of our sellers are up here, okay? That's our buyers. That could be fucking thousands, and this is all our sellers, and that's thousands here. So all of a sudden, these guys jump in here, push the price up, okay? You got some sellers come in, push the price down. Some more buyers come in, push the price up. More sellers come in, hold the price down. More buyers come in, push the price up. More sellers come in, and boom, there's no more buyers left. Is that a real basic explanation? Does that sort of make sense to anyone? I can't see the chat, so Ty, you're going to have to tell me what's going on.
Does that make sense for you guys, Jer? You asked that one, mate. Just want to make sure that yeah, cool.
Yeah, so in this move here, there was more buyers than sellers. So this amount was bigger than this amount, okay? But by the time we got to here, the amount of buyers here would have only been this much, but the amount of sellers at this point was this much. All right, so all these guys here have got all their orders in the book here, trying to get a lucky price on Bitcoin, and this guy just comes in and goes bang, and just smashes this to bits, and that's all they ate up. He's still got all this. So right now, I'll clear this up a little bit. Right now, there's still a massive lot of sells here, and this is where we get our supply and demand from. So right now, the current supply is pretty much this guy here, because that's where the price tried to get up to, and we just got smacked down. So this is where the rest of the sellers are in control, because the sellers push the market down. So this is who's in control at the moment. There's always a supply and there's always a demand. So right now, this is the supply. We're not going any higher than this until all the sellers here have gone. All right, and right now, I guess you would say in the short term, the demand is probably here. But to be honest, it hasn't really been created yet. There's no real confirmation that this has created a demand. So really the only demand we've really got to work off at the moment is this guy down here. All right, so delete this guy. So right now, this is our tradable channel. This is our demand, and this is our supply. What's going on? There we go. Yeah, so right now we're sort of in the middle of no man's land. So this is why I don't want to trade right now, even though there could be a good short opportunity if we sort of flag up here and drop down. That could be a good short. But to me, it's in the middle of no man's land. You shouldn't really be trading within this channel. You either want to place longs off here to go up, or you want to place shorts off here to go down. So that's sort of the swing channel we've got. You can definitely make moves in between, but there'll be more scalps using breakout trading and stuff like that. A little bit more risky, generally less risk to reward. So if you can imagine, that's our tradable channel. Actually, I'll stop drawing it like this, and I'll draw it on here. So if this is our current tradable channel, that's our supply. That's our demand. All right, now let's say you're going to go long here. All right, theoretically, that's your target that you're shooting for, and there's every bit of chance that price will come down to this demand zone. So look at your risk to reward, 1.3 to 1. You're risking losing 6.5 to win 8.5. That's a pathetic trade. All right, and even if you wanted to flip that and go short from where we are, it's even worse because your stop loss will be above supply and your target is that. So you're negative. You're 0.42 to 1. You're going to lose more than you're going to win. So that's another pathetic trade. But if you're looking to long from here, and that's your overall target, 13 to 1, your stop loss will be just below that. Now you're at 6.5 to 1. So this is what I mean by a riskier trade. It's always going to be, it doesn't mean you can't win a trade from here, because that's still, even if it dropped right now, that's still a 5% trade. And, on leverage, that could be anywhere from 50 to 500%. That's still a really successful trade. But it's riskier shorting from here than it would be shorting from here, because your risk to reward ratio is completely different. And then if you were going to say, oh yeah, but I wouldn't put my stop loss over there, I'd just put my stop loss here to try and fix your risk to reward ratio, right? You're putting pretty heavy sort of faith in the fact that, really you're putting faith that is resistance at the moment, and you're not going to come any higher than that, but you're really in the middle of the channel. I would say that's probably more likely to be resistance than the top of that. So now all of a sudden you start climbing a little bit for them, just gets worse and worse. I think I went off a little bit then, but what I was trying to get at was the reason there was such a half sell-off, because there's not a lot of buyers in the market. It's much easier for the sellers to push the market down. If you just go by pure quantity, it's so hard to explain, but it literally, I'd have to do like a little pictorial or graphic or something of it. But, if you thought of how many people are sitting here placing orders, there was a lot more of them up here, basically. The order books were very thin. There's only a few guys with orders in here, but there was heaps of people with sell orders here. So it was quite easy to smash it through. Whereas if there was more orders, more long orders, meaning there's quite a lot of investors or quite a lot of traders or people who are bullish, then it would have been a lot harder for it to push this market down. Even though there was a lot of sellers, if there's a lot of buyers, it probably wouldn't have gotten down this far. Or if it did get down this far, it would have bounced back up. So to have a sell-off like that tells me that there's no more buyers here. All right, so I'm not super confident that we're going to go up again unless we see some crazy manipulation.